On the front page of this week's Business Courier, Procter & Gamble's board declared CEO Bob McDonald's job safe on Wednesday, but not before analysts made compelling arguments that P&G's recovery might ultimately require more than just a new CEO. The management speculation was sparked by the news that activist investor William Ackman is building a stake in P&G. Ackman, who runs Pershing Square Capital Management, has a reputation for using his acquired clout to pressure boards into strategy shifts. On July 19th, P&G's board unanimously endorsed McDonald and the strategy he's outlined in recent months. It includes a $10 billion restructuring program and a renewed focus on P&G's top 40 businesses, top 10 developing markets, and top 20 innovations. To take us deeper into this story, Cincinnati Business Courier editor Rob Dahlmeyer joins us with Dan Monk, who's been covering the latest developments. Rob and Don.
Brian, thank you. Dan, it's been a busy week for you, obviously, covering P&G for the Courier. You talked to a lot of analysts. You read a lot of reports. Have you gotten a sense yet as to what investors specifically want from P&G right now?
Everything. No, they want earnings to grow and they want the stock price to go up, and then there are a million different ideas on how they think that should happen. So, you know, people are talking about, should they split up the company into smaller and more profitable units? Should they bring back managers who left the company following the acquisition of Gillette and then the restructuring that followed that? You know, there's some speculation that P&G just needs to focus on its more affordable brands, and that is something that P&G has already been doing. So part of the problem is that nobody really has a consensus on what the right approach is, and P&G's vote of confidence, I think, will probably quiet the criticism for the time being.
Now, for people who don't religiously follow the ups and downs of Procter & Gamble's stock price, although that is got to be by far the biggest stock owned by people in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I think people could be forgiven for thinking P&G's doing okay. Their stock price is up 30% over the last couple years. What's wrong? Why is there something wrong, period?
Well, their peers are growing more rapidly than P&G. They're gaining market share. Their stock price is going up, and I think that's the big problem, is that investors lack confidence in the P&G management now, because the stock price has been in the range of 60 to 65 for the better part of 2 years now. It went up after Ackman started buying. That's a sign that investors like the idea that there's going to be additional pressure. But P&G says they have the right strategy, and they're going to implement it.
Now, one of their big problems, obviously, as you've written about many times, is that relatively speaking, they have high-priced products. I mean, they're competing at the sort of the top end in most of the categories they're in, which has caused problems for them, right, over the last couple of years.
It has, but these are profitable product lines, and that's part of the problem. Do they shift to lower price, lower margin products at the expense of these higher margin products? I mean, to some degree, they're a victim of their own success. In the U.S., they do so well compared to their peers in terms of the profit margins they get on the products they sell, particularly here in North America, that any shift to cheaper products is going to be problematic for them in terms of maintaining their profits.
So we talked a bit about them wanting maybe the CEO, Bob McDonald, to be replaced. Who are some of the people that you've heard could theoretically come back, or at least are on a wish list of people that could come back?
Yeah, the wish list, I guess, includes A.G. Lafley, the former CEO, Jim Kiltz, the former CEO of Gillette, Rob Steele, who was I think he was a former vice chairman at P&G, and Kerry Clark, who was a 32-year veteran who ran Cardinal Health after leaving P&G. A lot of outplacement experts say that people who are trained at P&G, spend decades there, move on to other companies, are really sought after as a CEO candidate. So that could be what is driving some of this thinking, that people who stayed at P&G for a long time, left, now could come back with a fresh set of eyes and reinvigorate the company.
So last question, what's the next step? They've got earnings coming up, correct?
August 4th is the earnings announcement. After P&G's board delivered that vote of confidence for McDonald, a lot of people thought that that gives P&G and Bob McDonald a couple of quarters now where if he's able to improve results, the pressure will decrease. But if the results don't improve, you can look for the pressure to increase.
Great. Well, Daniel, I'm sure you'll be doing a lot more on this, and thanks for being here.